here. I don't have an update yet on safety voting for people with confidence that are ready to leave. We stopped one of my office back in April. Remember, able to keeping it posted, and I know she's really busy too, so I will check in with her over the weekend. But let's make the best out of this hour. So let's bring the hands to your legs wherever they land naturally. Closing the eyes, letting yourself move into the seat more with feeling and less with thinking. Finding some softness in the shoulders, elbows, wrists, and fingers. Finding some softness in the face, especially around the mouth, nose, and eyes. Aiming to align the head over the heart over the pelvis. Taking a moment here to take inventory of the body, of the mind. How are you feeling? What are you bringing to the mat with you today? And you don't have to judge those things or emotions or feelings. You don't have to do anything about them. You're just acknowledging them, and you are aware of them. About 10 more breaths here. And then with your eyes closed, palms facing down, start drawing some circles with the upper body. Starting out nice and slow, but starting out big. Almost feels like you're drawing a circle with the hips on the mat. Observing any cracks or pops, anything that is happening here. And then slowly start getting smaller. Each circle just a little bit smaller until you get to the smallest version of the circle. And then keep redrawing that small circle. Slowly start going the other way around. Starting out big again, see how this feels. And slowly start getting smaller. back to center, back to stillness. Feel free to keep the eyes closed or open them. Sitting in a cross-legged seat, maybe switch the legs around. So if one is in front, bring the other one in front, and one at the top, and the other one on top. If you're wondering why I'm sitting this way, it's so that you can better. We're doing it, but it's fine. The next inhale, bring both arms up over the head, palms facing forward, and then bringing the fingers, fleshy part of the palm. So we're moving into our wrist strengthener. Let's see if we can speed this up. Really like quick clapping and applauding for ourselves and each other. And feel free to adjust the speed in any way you need to, grabbing blocks, support yourself. Let's speed this up one more time. And then slow, that thing is rain down to your sides, to the ground. Interlace the fingers behind the back, bring the palms together, or have that little loose grip. Then either bringing the shoulders close together with the hands on the ground, or they could be hovering just above the ground. Maybe you're looking down, forward, or up, depending on what feels best for your neck. Keep squeezing the shoulders, projecting your sternum out to the front. Again, you can have the eyes closed here if that feels comfortable and safe. And then slowly release the hands, bring them back up over your head. Look in between the hands, palms facing inwards. And then you're holding a big beach ball over your head. Next exhale, brings the hands to heart center. Let the chin come down towards your chest. Close the eyes here for a moment. Feeling that lengthening in the back of your neck. And then next exhale brings both hands down to the ground. Inhale, right arm up and over to the left. Finding softness in that left shoulder and left elbow. So making sure that shoulder doesn't creep up to your neck. Maybe you're looking down, maybe up towards your right elbow or hand. And then the right shoulder is gently pulling back. And the right hip is grounding into the mat or your pillow if you're sitting on one. Breathing deeply into the belly. All the way up. Next inhale brings you back up. Exhale, let the right hand come down. Inhale, left arm up and over to the right. Setting up just as mindful step by step on this side. Deciding where you want your gaze to go. Checking on that right shoulder. Left elbow gently pushing back. Left hip grounding into the mat. Next, inhale, come back up. Exhale, bring your hand down. And switching the seat around again, coming into what probably is the more comfortable version. So the one you move into automatically. And then bring the hands to the back of your head and slowly use the hands to weigh the head down, bringing the chin towards the chest. Just aiding that lengthening in the back of the neck. Slowly come back. Interlace the fingers and just rotate your wrists here. Not thinking about any specific while you're doing it, just bringing some movement into the wrists. And then let's switch direction. Beautiful. Release the hands, extend them out to your side, palms face down, shoulders are nice and down. Then start bending at the wrists and then pulling the fingers towards you, spreading the fingers out wide. One of my favorite ones. Protecting your personal space, but also nicely strengthening and stretching the wrists as well. Keep pulling those fingers in. And then slowly release the hands down. Bring the hands down in front of you, coming onto all fours. But we're not going to move on to all fours yet. We're just doing it as a transition. Tuck the toes under. And then sit down on your heels in the little toe seat, making sure all 10 toes are pushing into the mat, especially your pinky toe, probably trying to slightly escape, so don't let it. Bringing the hands to the legs wherever they land naturally, dropping your chin down towards the chest here. And you could even create some rounding in the spine by pulling the belly button in and up. Mainly just applying a lot of weight onto the feet by having the shoulders over the hips. You'll be here for a good 10 reps, and I know this will probably at some point be a little bit uncomfortable, and that's okay. If you do encounter pain, feel free to move out of it. But if it's only discomfort, I'm gonna breathe through it. Halfway there. And slowly slide the hands forward onto the mat. And we will release the toes, pushing the tops of the feet into the mat. And then sit back down on the heels. So a counted stretch for the feet. Again, trying to have the shoulders over the hips, which will just give more weight to the feet. You can always have your hands on the blocks on the sides to give you a little bit of support here and allow you to sit up straight. But feel free to grab blocks if you don't have them and if you want them. And we'll be here for 10 breaths. Free to have the eyes closed. And we're halfway there. And slowly slide the hands forward, bring them to the mat. And then let's flap the feet out to get nice and audible. Coming back to stillness. We will do all of our fun stuff because I know you will have to live without it for the next 3 months. So I wouldn't want to deprive you. So we're gonna bring that right leg on top of the left calf muscle, like wherever the slashingest part of that calf muscle is, you're gonna cross that leg over. Then you're you're going to walk yourself back and sit on your left heel. This will be painful, and I do apologize if it's the first time doing it. You're gonna have the hands on your blocks here, or just have yourself on your fingertips. As you can tell, that right knee is just really moving out to the side, comes on the ground, but it's floating. It really just depends on your body. And I know I'm feeling it too. But it is really good for your feet, for the knees, the hips, all the way up, because that tendon that is connected to the heel actually moves all the way up to the neck. And that's why in the body, everything is so fantastically connected and affects each other. Let's slowly move forward, and we will do the other side. The left leg over the fleshiest part of that right calf muscle, and then walk yourself back. Sitting down on that right heel if possible. Again, maybe using your blocks here for the hands. Seeing how this side feels. Is there a difference? Is it similar? Again, we're just observing. We're not acting on it. Always aiming to be less reactive. This side feels surprisingly better to me. Here in the usual, I'm just talking before you don't think about what's happening in your body. Normally, I want you to think about what's happening in your body, but when we're going for something that we know is just basically slightly painful, nothing wrong with finding a little bit of distraction. And slowly walk back forward, and we will do our second version. So bringing that right foot right above the left heel. So wherever the thinnest part of your leg is, basically, where your ankle or your leg is skinniest, that's where you're gonna bring your right foot or your right shin. And then you're going to sit down on that left heel again. Slightly different. Seeing how this feels here. Embracing whatever is coming up, whatever is happening. Also, by the way, so you can survive the next 3 months without me, really great whenever you have digestive problems. So it's not only connected to all of the things I told you before, but it's also connected with digestion. And so it's basically Chinese medicine. I know I've told it some of you before, that that's what it is. Kind of like tries to loosen up and create a better flow. So if you're ever struggling with digestion, just like there's a 45-minute side. Exactly, because you won't feel anything. Slowly move out of it, and we will do the last side, last version. Again, that skinny part of that right leg, and then sitting down on that right heel. Feet all tangled up. About all night. Hopefully 10 mile hike, but ended up on being a 30 mile hike yesterday at Mountain Watershed. This actually feels really nice, and some of that was like really very inclination, very much uphill. And my calf muscles feeling it. Beautiful. Slowly come out of it and made it through. Feel free to shake the legs out again. Anything that feels good. And coming back to stillness, tuck the toes under, wrists underneath the shoulders, spreading the fingers out nice and wide like little sunbeams, eyes of the elbows pointing forward, letting the head be an extension of your spine. So really having the neck nice and long on all sides. And then your next inhale drops the belly, look up. Exhale, pull the navel in, chin to chest. And we're flowing through this cat and cow flow, aligning it with your own breath, one breath per movement. Feel free to have the eyes closed. Coming back to center, back to stillness. Extend the right leg out to the back, keeping the ball of the foot on the ground. And we will just rock back and forth here with that right heel. Imagine that right knee crease is trying to lift up to the sky. So you're super straightening that right leg, letting a right calf muscle completely expand, which we do very rarely in our daily lives. So it's good to take a little extra time here. Then we will come to the inside of that right foot, bringing it down to the mat. Swing the left foot out to the left, so off the mat, kind of setting up in the side plank with your left wrist, left knee, right heel aligned. And then bringing your right hand to your right hip, maybe up towards the sky. And then instead of thinking side plank, think back bend. So gently pushing the hips forward. Doesn't have to be far, you're just gently pushing the hips forward. Finding a little opening in the chest, the heart space. If you want, that right arm could also move over your head, pointing basically to where your crown of the head is pointing, or the front of the mat. The outer edge of that right foot is grounding into the mat, so you might feel how that increases the stretch in the right side of the body. And then with the next exhale from here, gonna bring the legs back to parallel and then thread the needle with your right arm. We're moving straight into this. So knees parallel, you're basically on all fours. Threading the needle with your right arm. That left hand can stay where it is, or you could walk it out to the front, maybe even towards the right side of the mat, which will increase the stretch in the left side of the body. Again, choosing what is needed for you. Tops of the feet are pushing into the mat if possible. And bringing that left hand back if it walk up. Your next inhale, let's the right arm come all the way up to the sky. Look up. Exhale, bring that right hand down. Coming back onto all fours. Extend the left leg out to the back this time. And then we are rocking back and forth with that left heel. The ball of the left foot is on the ground, kind of bouncing back and forth. And maybe taking a moment to compare how this side feels. The top of the right foot is grounding into the mat. And then the inside of the left foot comes down to the mat, right foot swings out to the right, so it's off the mat, aligning right wrist, right knee, and left heel. Bringing your left hand either to your hip, up towards the sky, or maybe over your head, pointing forward to the front of the mat. Again, thinking back bend, then keep pushing the hips forward. Usual, if having that alignment with the 3 points doesn't fully work, feel free to change it. Do an asana and your practice, pushing into that outer edge of your left foot. Checking on the right shoulder, making sure it's gently tucked away from the neck. Finding that expansiveness in your heart space, finding that opening. Our next exhale brings the leg back into the all four position. Left leg, left arm threads the needle. It would be interesting to thread the needle with the leg. And then again, that right hand can stay as is. Maybe you're walking it out to the front, maybe over towards the left side of the mat. Tops of the feet are grounding down. And then bringing the right hand back in if it walked out. Inhale to bring the left arm all the way up and look up. Exhale, bring that left hand back down. Turn your fingers out to the sides. And then bring your hands about mat width apart. So the fingers can be off the mat. The wrists are mat width apart. And then slowly just start moving your shoulders from side to side. Letting the inner shoulder drop as much as it feels good. And coming back to center. Keep the fingers pointing out, but bring the hands back in so the wrists are below the shoulders. And then keep turning the fingers until they are pointing towards your knees. As much as possible, it doesn't matter if it's more of a 45-degree angle pointing to the side. You could also do one hand at the time, and I'll let you know when it's a good time to switch. So again, make this work for you. And from here, the hips gently start pushing back. So feeling a stretch in the palms, the wrists, the forearms. The palms can slightly come off the mat if that's what's happening for you, as long as the fingers stay glued to the ground. And if you're doing one at a time, slowly switch hands. And we'll all come out of it nice and slow, coming back forward. Releasing the hands. If you feel like you want to shake them out or wrist them out or rotate them out, feel free to do that, or just bringing the palms onto the ground. Totally up to you. And then making your way back onto all fours. Walk the hands slightly forward, just about an inch, spreading the fingers out wide, knees below the hips. Extend the right leg out to the back, this time lifting that foot off the ground. The right toes are pointing down to the mat. Left toes can be tucked under, or you can have the toes released, totally yogi's choice. Letting the belly button move inwards, so finding some core engagement here. And then with the next exhale, that right knee comes into your chest. Inhale, extend that leg out, drop the chest in between the hands. And come back up. And we'll flow between the two. Every time you drop that chest, see if you can lift that leg up a little bit higher. And then slowly bringing that right leg back down when you finish up. So don't just stop in the middle of it, finish up the round. And then extend the left leg out to the back, left toes pointing down. And finding some core engagement here. Next exhale brings the left knee into the chest, nose to knee. Inhale, extend, drop the chest, lift the leg a little bit higher. And we're flowing between the two. And then finish up with a round, bringing that left leg back down and come into a child's pose. You can come into your favorite version of child's pose, so no matter if that's wide-legged, maybe together, arms can be out in front of you or on your sides with the hands next to the ankles. Letting the hips melt down towards the heels, forehead towards the ground. You can always bring a block or your hands in to bring the ground closer towards your forehead. And we're here for 5 breaths. Every inhale, breathing into your lower back. Feeling your hips being pulled back further. With every exhale, melting your belly chest either towards the legs or towards the ground. And slowly coming back onto all 4. Planting those palms, spreading the fingers out like the little sunbeams. Tuck the toes under. With your inhale, lift the knees. With your exhale, lift the hips. Made it into our first downward dog for our practice today. Feel free to walk it out here. Maybe a little twist from side to side, maybe stillness, maybe something totally different. So whatever is happening for you here, letting that be the thing that's happening. hands. Sure the fingers, the knuckles are grounding, especially the thumb and index fingers. Finding a little bit of space between the shoulders, dropping that head. Additionally, if you feel like there is a lot of rounding happening in your spine, maybe bend your knees a little bit more. Always listening to the body, always remembering that if anything gets smushed, you can come into child's pose. With the next inhale, come up high onto the tippy toes. Exhale, bend the knees. And then walk yourself to the front of the mat. Take a good amount of steps, so really take a walk. With the next inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Arms come up over your head. Look up. Maybe holding a beach ball in between the hands. Tugging the tail under, drawing the belly in. So keeping the lower back nice and safe in the back bend. Next exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, arms move out and up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hold. Step the right foot to the back of the mat, dropping that back knee, releasing the back toes. And then just bringing your hands onto your left leg. You can have the fingers interlaced and push the palms into that leg, or you can just have the hands resting on the left knee, dropping deeply into that left knee. And the left hip is gently pulling back. Always feel free to use your hands to manually adjust. And the right hip is dropping down. Finding softness in your gaze, maybe looking forward and down, maybe even closing your eyes fully or 3/4. And then the next inhale, maybe brings the hands to heart center. All the way up towards the sky. Palms can be together, or you can hold that beach ball over your head. If your knee, the back knee is bothering you, you can always tuck the toes under, or you could double up the mat to give you more cushioning there. With the next exhale, we're going to bring the hands back down. Straighten that left leg, pushing the hips back, letting the left toes point up towards the sky. You can always move that left leg around to make this the most comfortable for you. You can be on your fingertips, you can be on blocks, choosing what works. We're melting down with the chest and belly towards the left leg, kind of aiming towards that left knee, letting your gaze go towards your left toes. You could bring the hands in to align them underneath the shoulders. And then here the left hip gently pushes back, right hip pushes forward. Every exhale, melt down a little bit more. Maybe pull the toes a little bit more towards you, the left toes, obviously. And with your next inhale, half lift. And then you can use your blocks here still. We're going to bring both hands onto the left side. So you could be on the block here, and walk yourself as far over to the left as possible. The right hip is gently pulling back. Slowly walk the hands back, framing that right foot, bending that left knee. Lift the back knee and then step the left foot to the back of the mat, coming into a high plank here. You can always drop the knees down to come into the supported version. Eyes of the elbows are facing forward as much as possible. Crown of the head is pointing forward, so the neck is nice and long on all sides. And then from here, we will lower down onto the belly, and you can do that no matter if your knees are already down or not. Inhale brings you into a swing. So aligning the elbows underneath the shoulders, squeezing the shoulder blades together, letting the gaze go forward and down, almost like you're projecting your heart space and sternum forward. Tops of the feet could be pushing into the ground for a little bit of extra. It doesn't have to happen. Sometimes it feels nice to just have the heels move out to the side and just give yourself some space here. Next exhale brings you all the way back down. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under. Inhale either through high plank or all four. Exhale, downward dog. And we're here for 5 breaths. Maybe taking a wider down dog by having the feet mat with a palm, just something to play with. You have that wide stance, you can drop the hips from side to side, see how that feels. And coming back to center with your feet, if you have them further up. Next inhale, lift the heels up high. Exhale, bend the knees slightly and take a walk to the front of the mat. Inhale, lift you up into a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, arms come up over your head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms move out and up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hold. Step the left foot to the back, dropping that back knee, releasing the back toes. Feel free to already double that mat to support the back knee. And then bringing your hands onto that right knee. You can do little manual adjustments. The right hip is pulling back. We're moving deeply into the right knee. The left hip is dropping down. And just resting the hands on the right knee. Almost like you're gently pushing your chest away from your leg. Next inhale brings the hands either to heart center, up over your head. Stay up over your head. You have the 2 options again, palms together, or maybe holding that beach ball over your head. From here, the next exhale brings the hands down to frame the right foot. Straighten that front leg, pushing the hips back. And again, you can widen your stance by either adjusting that front heel or by moving that the back leg out. Achieves the same result. And then here, the right hip is gently pulling back. Left hip is pushing forward. The back toes can be tucked under. You can have the hands on the blocks. You can have them closer in to align the wrists and the shoulders. Then wherever you end up being, the belly and chest are melting towards your right leg. The right toes are flexed and they're flexing towards you. You will feel that might increase the stretch in the back of the right leg. And then slowly coming halfway up, bringing both hands over to the outside of the right leg. And again, you can have one or both blocks here to have the hands on. Walking the hands as far over to the right as it works for you. And then slowly bringing the hands back, framing that right foot, bending the right knee. Let's plank the back leg, and then this time stepping the back foot to the front of the mat. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to come all the way up to standing, arms come up over your head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms move out and up. Exhale, swan back down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step one foot to the back, step the other foot to the back. Drop the knees down, let the feet swing out to one side, and sit down on the mat. Extending your left leg out long, right foot comes to the inside of the left leg, anywhere between the knee and the hip crease. Really making your own again. The left heel is pushing into the ground and the left toes are flexed towards you. You can tell I like doing all little physical adjustments. Then slowly twisting your body to the left. So you're aiming with the chest and the left knee. We will slowly walk the hands out, framing that left leg. You can either let the hands land wherever they land. Maybe the forearms come down, maybe they don't. Main aim being the belly and chest melting towards that left leg. Depending on how tight your hips are, this might be something you're feeling in the right hip here. And then slowly coming up just about 50%. Bring the left hand to the inside of the left leg. See if you can have that whole forearm on the ground on the inside of the leg. And then the right arm will move up towards the sky. Maybe your gaze follows that right hand. Breathing into the right side of the body. Then we'll see if we can use the core strength to pull yourself up into a seat here and move into a twist. So right hand behind you on the ground or a block, left hand on the outside of the right knee, the one that's already bent. And then looking over the right shoulder towards the back. Every inhale here lengthens the spine. And every exhale twists you a little bit more. And slowly come out of your twist, always coming out of twist slowly. Extend the right leg out long, bring that left foot in, grounding into that right heel, flexing those right toes towards you, and then again, aligning your chest so you're facing that right knee. And as always, that right knee can definitely have a bend in it if that feels better, especially for the hamstring. As long as you're still pushing that right heel in, you're still getting the exact same benefit. And then we're slowly walking the hands out. Again, maybe you're staying on your hands. Maybe the forearms are melting down, letting belly and chest come down towards that leg. And then slowly coming up 50% again. Bring that right hand to the inside of that right leg. You can see maybe the fingertips are touching the heel or the foot somewhere. And that forearm is as far down as possible. And then the left arm up to the sky. Maybe the gaze follows. Use the core strength to come all the way up and into our fixed left. You can have the left hand on the ground, on the right hand on the outside of that left leg. Beautiful. Looking over the left shoulder towards the back, maybe gently tucking your chin here. And every inhale lengthens the spine. Every exhale twists it a little bit more. And slowly come out of your twist, bringing the bottoms of the feet together. Coming into this bound angle pose, and you don't have the feet really close in. Maybe create a little bit more space than you normally would, and then bringing your hands to your ankles. We will just draw some circles here. Feel free to have the legs move around with you a lot here. It's all good. And then slowly switch direction. And coming back to stillness, keep the hand on the ankles. Then slowly start bending the elbows, tilting at the hips, leaning forward. The elbows can gently be pushing into the legs, allowing yourself to basically tilt yourself to bring the legs down a little bit more. Once you feel like you've settled in here, maybe bring the arms out in front of you. Maybe the forearms come down to the ground. Letting the gaze go towards your feet. The spine is as straight as possible. If those forearms are on the ground, maybe let the palms face up, opening yourself up to receiving, realizing that we can only receive if we're willing to give, hence that open palm. And slowly coming all the way back up. You have the option to stay in bound angle with your legs and your feet. Just move your hips towards the middle of the mat and then come down onto your forearms and then all the way down onto your back. So if you would like to spend Shavasana here, you could do that. And you could even use your fists underneath your thighs. So kind of just where the butt moves into the legs, kind of support yourself here. If you would like to just let the legs do their thing and let the knees square down, you can do that as well and have the arms on your sides. Or you could move into a classic Shavasana by letting one leg move out long and then the other. Bringing your arms to your sides. Giving your armpits some room to breathe. Definitely transition into a different version while you're here. Closing the eyes wherever you are at this point. Into this final, one might say, actually we do most important part of your practice. Giving yourself time to absorb the nutrients of your practice. So letting your breathing and wiggling your fingers and toes. Let the movement spread out into your arms and your legs. Bring your legs together, bring your arms over your head, giving yourself a big stretch like you just woke up from a little nap. And then slowly bring the knees into the chest, hug them in tightly. Slowly hug yourself like you love yourself here. And then slowly letting go of the knees and roll onto your right side. Letting your head rest on your right hand or your right arm. Left hand is just here to support. from here with the eyes closed. Use the strength of your arms to bring yourself up into your feet. Make eyes closed for another moment. Keep the hands heart center when you arrive here. Palms pushing into each other, thumbs touching your heart space, your sternum. Feeling that connection, maybe hearing your heartbeat, feeling your heartbeat. Let the chin drop down towards your chest, nose or forehead to your fingers. Take a deep inhale and a complete exhale. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be kind. Namaste.
Mami, ich rufe dich an in circa 10 Minuten, okay? Cześć, tatuś.